The next day, the stranger's luggage is brought from the station by a man named Fearenside, who has a dog, which makes Fearenside our favorite character so far. So here, this Fearenside, he was also a coach fellow, okay, means horse coach fellow. He carries the luggage of the strange man from railway station to the place of inn, where the Mrs. Hall and Mr. Hall's hotel is there. Till then, he carries it. And Fearenside, okay, along with him, he had domesticated a dog. Okay, he had a dog, and it was very naughty. The stranger has come down to take his all luggage. Okay, and the stranger's invisible look. Okay, the stranger's odd look made dog to bark many a time. And when the stranger was standing beside this lady, okay, this dog had bite to the fingers, okay, of his hand. The stranger has lots of luggage, including boxes of glass, bottles cushioned by uh, straw naturally. He would probably, means the stranger probably loved to yell at people to be careful with his boxes. But Fearenside's dog attacks him and rips his glove and pants. See, when his luggage was being carried by some other slaves or some workers in the inn to his room, he was about to yell out, means he was about to angrily tell them that be careful about my luggage or carefully handle it. He was supposed to tell it, he was supposed to say it, but immediately he was caught or he was bitten. Okay, and the rip of his this by the dog of the fear inside, and dogs attack him and rips his glove and pants. Rips his glove and this gloves and pants means it drags his gloves and pants. The stranger runs back to his room to change his clothes. Mr. Hall, he says that, you don't worry fear inside. Our strange man is a nice guy that he is. He checks on the stranger to make sure he was not hurt. But when this Mr. Hall, means the owner of the inn, okay, he enters the room without knocking, will they ever learn? Means there is a question here. Does in the beginning of the novel, does Mr. Hall comes to know the real quality of this invisible man? He was about to see something strange, but immediately this invisible man pushes him out and he locks his door. Okay, see, in the third chapter, it so happens that the chapter's name is the thousand and one okay one bottles. The name has been given in such a way because in the next slides you will come to know that 1,000 bottles will arrive there, and the whole village people will have some gossips over this. So here, the strange man, he receives his luggage by this fear inside, and when he receives the luggage by the fear inside, he starts to check it properly, and he asks his fellow guys or the servants whether does all the things were there or not. And he was about to ask them, or he was about to yell them or angrily say them that carry all the luggages or the bottles. He never said or opened up that the luggage were carrying the bottles. He only said them that he was about to angrily to tell them that carry everything very carefully. Okay, but the dog of this fear inside, he immediately bites him and rips his gloves and also the pant. Okay, and immediately he goes to his room to change it, because when this dog rips or it bites his finger, there will be hole in the gloves. Okay, there will be some hole. Okay, so in the hole, immediately when there is a hole in your gloves or in your mask, your personality or your flesh or your body part, it can be visible very easily. But in the case of this invisible man, it is not possible. Why? Because he doesn't have physical body or physical personality, so how can it will be visible, right? So he immediately goes to the room to change it and to wear a different gloves. But this Mr. Hall, in order to ask him excuse, he goes to his room, but without knocking, he enters his room. When without knocking, he enters his room, this invisible man was busy in changing his dresses, and this guy, Mr. Hall, he sees something strange, and he was about to recognize what strange he has seen. But immediately, this strange man or griffin pushes Mr. Hall out of his room. See, unfortunately, Mr. Hall gets pushed out of the room before he can figure out what he saw. The villagers are now hanging around the luggage, gossiping and saying what they would do if a dog bite them. These people clearly don't have TVs. When the unheard stranger gets the boxes, he starts unpacking all of his bottles and gets to work immediately. So simultaneously, when he was busy, I mean, the strange man was busy in his work. At the same time, the villagers were also commenting or making some gossips on his work. They said that what happens if a simple and a small dog bites. Okay, should we need to change our dress? He goes to change there, and we really don't understand what he was carrying in the luggage. Okay, so these were the point of gossips, and he never bothered about these gossips. He was busy in his work. He started unpacking, means opening his all bottles and unpacking his luggage, etc. Okay, Mrs. Hall, she brings him dinner, but surprises, okay, surprise, okay, enter without knocking. So of course, two things happen. One is she catches a glimpse of something strange. He has very hollow eyes sockets, but then he puts on his glasses. And the second thing what she recognizes is he complains about being interrupted. Mrs. Hall fuses over the mess that he is making, but the stranger just tells her to bill him. Okay, so here what happens here, and when he was busy in his unpacking or opening his all luggages, and he was trying to be busy on his experiments, here she, I mean this Mrs. Hall, okay, she was bringing dinner for him. So even without any intimation or without knocking the door, she also comes in. And when she also comes in, she also recognizes something really strange. And for herself, it was really shocking because she clearly recognizes that he doesn't have eyes. See, losing visibility is different. ಈಗ ನಾವು ಹೇಳ್ತೀವಿ ಅವರಿಗೆ ಕಣ್ಣಿಲ್ಲ ಅಂತ ಹೇಳಿ, but it is not ಕಣ್ಣಿಲ್ಲ ಅಂತ ಅಲ್ಲ. They, in the colloquial language, in the common language, we say that they don't have eyes. Does it meaningful sentence? No, they are blind. They don't have visibility capacity. Okay, ಅವರಿಗೆ ಕಣ್ಣು ಕಾಣಿಸೋದಿಲ್ಲ ಅಷ್ಟೇ. They have eyes, they have ಕಣ್ಣು. Okay, ಅವರಿಗೆ ಕಣ್ಣು ಇರ್ತದೆ, ಬಟ್ ಅದು ಕಾಣಿಸೋದಿಲ್ಲ. Fine, they have eyes, they don't have visibility. They can't see the things properly. So but this invisible man, this stranger or a griffin, he doesn't at all have this eyes part in his body. See, just think, when there are no eyes, or the eyes where you have, if it is blank, if it is empty place, how do you feel? Like, just imagine the skeleton. Okay, just imagine the skull of the body. Asti panjar, just imagine that. When if there is no eyes, and how does it look? So in the same way, Mrs. Hall was also shocked by this weird presence of this strange man, and she was also about to recognize it completely, but she looks at the different place. There she senses that he has broken something, and she was starting yelling out on this issue. He tells her that if you want to yell me, don't yell me, or don't angrily scold me or scream at me. Okay, so whatever you want, if you say that I have broken these all things, charge it on my bill, or you charge me, I will pay you. So no need to scold on me, or no need to scream at me, he tells later. So this is what the end of the third chapter. Have you understood the third chapter? See, in the third chapter, he takes his luggage and he starts on his experiments. But here, Mr. and Mrs. Hall gradually, initially, they got a very small doubt on him, because they feel and they sense that he is not an ordinary or a common man like how we all are. Because Mr. Hall, what he senses, we still don't know, because the things are unrevealed. And the second thing is that Mrs. Hall, when she recognizes him, she comes to know that he doesn't have eyes at all, means the eyes body part. Okay, so later when she later recognizes that he has broken something at her home, she was ailing out on him, and he tells her that charge everything on my bill and don't ail me anything here. Okay, so this is the end of the chapter third, and we shall move on to the chapter fourth. Are you understanding it?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, is there any difficulty?
No, ma'am.
See, I'm not taking all the languages which is explained in the textbook, because that is in old English. If I write the same thing here, you don't understand it. So let us finish the notes in the lucid way, and later, we hope for the best thing that virtual class must starts quite early. So in the virtual classes, I go, the chapter wise chapter summary very quickly. Okay. So the next thing, that is fourth chapter. Just a minute. Okay. Huh. Mr. Cuss interviews the stranger. This Mr. Cuss is a doctor here. Okay. Mr. Cuss is a doctor. The whole Iping village was fed up with the activities of this strange man, because he was not a common man like how the ordinary or the common mans were there in the society. He never spoke with anyone. He never opened with anyone. Okay. He was reclusive, and he was irascible, and he was introvert. Introvert means a person who always wants to be within himself, and he doesn't want to tell anything from his side to other people. Okay, so such kind of a personality that this Griffin was. So this Dr. Mr. Cuss, okay, as being from the medical science background, he made himself to ready to speak or to interrogate or to interview this strange man. The narrator tells us that after the dog incident, not much happened in Iping until the club festival. Instead, the village settles into something of a routine. So after this dog incident, there was no much gossips on this strange man. But in the club festival, after the club festival, again there was an interesting incident happened on this strange man. So what was that? This is the routine. When Mrs. Hall complains about his mess, the stranger tells her to bill him extra, which works fine until April. So till April, the things were going very smoothly. When the strange man starts to run out of money, no one in Iping really likes the stranger, and everyone has a theory about why he is weird. How strange is he? He doesn't go to church on Sundays, and he goes for walk at night. Clearly, there is something wrong with this guy. Where are the police? You need them. So here, what all the village people they were speaking is that this guy Griffin, he is not a normal guy or a common man. Okay, he never attends church. See, in the usually in Western countries, if a person is busy with all the days or with his work, he can go to church, and he must have to go to church on every Sundays. Okay, so there is a confession box in a week, what all the things, the wrong things that he has done, he could express to the fathers there. Okay, and they can relieve them. Okay, this is the way that they maintain there. And here, but this guy, that is Griffin, he never goes to church even on Sundays. Okay, and he always go for walk at the night. Okay, every day. And really something there is different. This guy is mysteriously something a suspense man. Okay, so the village people starts talking on this, and they also says that call the police. Okay, they can investigate better than us. Okay, and later some people think he is a criminal or an anarchist or a lunatic or a simply a freak who could make a fortune charging people at country fairs to check him out. Okay, so here what happens here, they have all the people of the villages, they have their own theories or their own visions or their own opinions on this strange man. Some people think that he may be a criminal, or he may be an anarchist. Anarchist means a person who absconds from the government rule. For example, there's Naxalites. They always, what we can say, that they always, just a second, they always hide themselves from the government rule. Okay, absconding means escaping from the rule of government. Okay, so here he might be absconding, or he from the government rule. So this theories, they come up. Okay, and some may say that he may be acting like this because for money. Because if somebody starts investigate him, and if they demand him, I will pay you this much amount of money, so he can reveal his real color, who is he. So he may be, there are chances that he may be also doing for the sake of money. So whatever his deal is, everyone seems to agree that the stranger is too irritable for a village, though his irritability might have been comprehensible to an urban brain worker. See, in the to the village people, personally, he was not damaging or harming anything to them, but they are very curious about his life. It so happens in the village, they never worried about themselves. Okay, they're worried about the other people. Okay, what they wear, what they eat, when they come, when they go. These all things always there. So here, in the same way, the Iping village people were also very much worried and interested about this strange man. And it so happens that one villager who does not want to talk to him, who does want to talk to him, is town Dr. Kuss. On White Sunday, Gus goes to talk to the stranger, partly because he is curious, partly because he is jealous of all his bottles. After that, which we don't see, Gus runs out of seeing Bunting, the vicar. So what happens that this Gus, okay, or Dr. Gus, with great energy and with great courage, he goes to interview this strange man, or the strange person. Now, and he was about to interview him because of two things. One is that he was curious about this strange man's life, and another thing is that he was jealous of his bottles, means what he does want to do with this bottles. When he goes inside, immediately within a few minutes, he comes outside, and he was Bunting, and he goes to the vicar. Okay, Bunting the vicar. Vicar is what? Priest. In case it's an unfamiliar term, a vicar is a parish priest in the Anglican church. So he is a kind of a big deal in the town. Means, for his own treatment, being a doctor, he went to meet a vicar for his own treatment. Because this clearly says that there is something supernatural thing, or something he believed, means what we believe is superstition things. Okay, that kind of a sense has happened with Dr. Khas. So what happens here? We see that Gus wanted gossip, but this is apparently what happened instead. Okay, Gus wanted to create some gossips, but this is what apparently happened. So what was that? While the stranger was telling him a story about why his research was taking so long, okay, a scientific formula got burned in a fireplace. The stranger revealed that his sleeves was empty. Then he seemed to use an invisible hand to tweak the cuss nose. To be clear, if you are trying to hide the fact that you are invisible, tweaking people's nose with your invisible hand is not a good strategy. So here, it so happens that a strange man tells him that about everything to him, okay, about everything. So when he was experimenting on some chemical, his whole the building was fired up, huh? So it caught fire. So in that case, his chemicals were burnt, and also he lost his whole body and had. So when he was telling his whole story to him, when he doesn't have the hand, he opened his gloves, and when he opened his gloves, his hands are not visible. So what he does, he tweaks the nose of this strange. He tweaks the nose of this cuss. Tweaking means pinching the nose like this. Pinching the nose. Tweaking the nose means pinching the nose. So when a hand or a person is tweaking your nose, and when you can't see the physical body, okay, or when you can't sense the hand, where it is, okay, whose it is, then definitely you feel that it might be the work of some ghost, okay, or it might be the work of some super natural elements or the superstition elements. So immediately in the scare mood or with the great fear, Dr. Cuss, he runs away from the place. So this is the end of the chapter 4. Okay. So in the next class, we will see the deep analyzation of 3 chapters, 5, 6, and 7. Start inserting your roll number. So are you understanding the novel? Are you facing any difficulty?